Well, now the disappointment of what Markovic did is a few days old, and we can kind of come round to the idea that we're a comfortable Champions League qualifying team here in La Liga. We look ahead to another season review and transfer window, where we try and figure out how to add the missing pieces of the puzzle that allow us to be a team that wins La Liga or wins the Champions League. Will next season be our year? Probably not with a £10 million budget. Hello and welcome to Club 6, part 20 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we are going to be doing a season review and transfer special. It's already the 7th of June. Nothing has happened between the end of the season and now, other than Mosca has handed in a transfer request. He's currently valued at £28 million. So if we can get around his value, that's going to give me a nice little kitty to spend, because we're on 85% of transfer revenue made available for new transfers. But he wants me to commit to him being a regular starter and in a squad that's got Atz and O'Neill ahead of him. Plus we've got Mateus around as a backup option. Moreno still here as well, obviously. Lozano coming through, who we looked at in the last episode. I think we can afford to let Mosca go at age 28 for £30 million if he doesn't want to be here. So that's the only significant news, really. And we start things off with this season review. This is the overall best 11 here at Sevilla. As you can see, still not many of our players have made it into the overall best 11. McCrory's there, but of course McCrory is going to be leaving this summer. We have offered him a new contract. He turned down a free transfer to go back to Rangers. We offered him a new contract on like 20 grand a week for a year, and he wasn't interested in that. He would have done something for 40 grand a week, but I don't think he's worth 40 grand a week. He's our fifth choice centre-back now. He's old, he's deteriorating. Unless he's going to be super cheap with a view to becoming a coach, which he doesn't seem to be showing any signs of doing yet. And considering he turns 35 next season, you'd think he'd be planning a coaching career now. You can see his physicals are deteriorating. I think we're done with Ross McCrory. Centelles is in there as well, but similar scenario with him. 32 years old. Even my coach summary says he's surplus to requirements. So after a long... Actually, it's not that long. I assumed he'd been here years, but he only really had 2 seasons as a first-team regular and 2 seasons as a backup, and that makes him the best left-back we've ever had. That's a worry. And Garcia is in there as well. We don't need to get too bogged down in the rest of the all-time best 11, but this is our end-of-season awards. And Jason Gould, player of the season with 54% of the vote. I don't know if it's too early for us to try and get him on loan again. No, they want him in the first team. Of course they want him in the first team. He's just one player of the season for a Champions League team. I don't understand. Where did Brentford finish in the Premier League? 14th. And they play with wingers as well. Baffling that they let him go out on loan this season, but he won't be back, which is a real shame. But he did win player of the season. If we sell Mosca, we could maybe try and buy him, but 10 goals, 9 assists from 29 appearances, a 7.32 average. That's a pretty decent player. Alvaro, second place with 20% of the vote, and Atz, third place with 16%. So all 3 of them players I brought in last summer. So that suggests last summer, good business. Atz got goal of the season. Let's have a little look at it to see which one. I think he scored a few goals for us as the season went on. Oh, I've just had a spicy pork scratching and it's tickling my tonsils. So while we're watching this, I'll have a sip of my coffee to take the tonsil tickle away. There was nothing special at all about that goal. We scored so many goals this season that were better than that one. I don't understand. At Scott signing of the season though, unbelievable that this guy only cost £4 million. Now valued at £41 million. Possibly signing of the entire series, never mind signing of the season. And Gould, young player of the season. So team of the year was Markovic in goal, a back four of Calvillo, McCrory, Alvaro and Rodriguez. Moreno, O'Neill and Atz as the midfield, Garcia, Abraham and Gould as our strikers. But remember, we are probably switching towards a 4-2-3-1 for next season. So we need to do some shuffling around if you want the justification for that. I talked about it at length yesterday. Abraham finished top scorer with 16 goals. He's given us the kind of return he's been giving Levante for the last couple of years. I think we've just bought a decent mid-table La Liga striker He might still get better, but I think we probably need to replace him as a long-term solution. We definitely need to replace Gould. Hopefully Montero will be that man, but Pozo is another one who's out of contract this summer, so there is going to be a vacancy in the squad for a new right winger, and it's a big vacancy because Gould, not only highest average rating, most assists as well. He also got into double figures for goals himself. Moreno, best pass completion, most man of the matches shared between Abraham, Gould and Atz. And then there's the naughty boys down at the bottom. Season review, we overperformed. Again, we were expected to qualify for the Europa League. We qualified for the Champions League. We don't need to know about old teams from before we were here. This is our team leaders, Moreno, McCrory, O'Neill. We definitely know McCrory is leaving. Moreno might be leaving if we get a big enough offer for him. So Pozo's leaving as well. Garcia might leave if a big offer comes in for him. So there, Mosca has asked for a transfer. It's potentially going to be a pre-season of quite a lot of upheaval, but it all depends on players leaving before new players come in. I'm not aiming to win the title. We are aiming to qualify for the Champions League, though. We've done it 2 years in a row now. Yeah, there we go. We're all happy that we're a Champions League team now, which is good stuff. Pre-season start date, that's fine. And this guy, we've got a defender called Clive Pheasant, who's English and came through our youth team, and I don't understand why he exists. Why is someone born in Wigston coming through the Sevilla youth system? Baffling. But there you go, that's Clive Pheasant, who's now left his agent, apparently. Other than that, there's not much going on as of yet. Like I say, we can't really do much in the way of transfers until we get some players leaving. But the majority of them, I'm not desperate to get rid of. I'm not offering players out, but there's a lot of players who there's interest in who might just leave sort of by themselves. Moreno is the big one. If Bayern come in and meet his release clause, then he leaves. Montero can't leave because he's our only right winger now. We'll have a quick look at the team report, but it's not as meaningful just yet because there's still players in here who won't be here next season. So Gould and Pozo, obviously on that right-hand side, means we really do need another right winger in. Garcia and Ruiz. Garcia, worryingly, seems to be deteriorating. Certainly star rating wise. I guess that's because the rest of the squad is getting better around him. Perhaps he was never a 4.5 star player to begin with. Abraham and Valentini are fine as strikers, but it would be lovely to have a proper, really good striker. Our midfield is solid. We're likely to lose one of those 5, maybe 2, so we might have to bring another one in. And defensively, we're fine. Alvaro, Sanya, Ventura, Woodenberg, they're all perfectly acceptable. We need a left-back, though. Calvillo is going to be the only one now. So we need a new left-back in with Centellas leaving. Rodriguez is fine as a young right-back with lots of potential. Still only 20 years old. But we do need another one because we don't have another one. McCrory's leaving. Ventura's a centre-back. Calvillo's our only left-back. Alvaro's a centre-back. So we need another right-back. And we all know what Markovic did. He did get runner-up in La Liga goalkeeper of the season. Which, mad. Just mad. I'd like to bring in a better goalkeeper over the top of him, though, just because I still can't look at him after what he did. But that's the situation that we're in. Players currently on our radar. We've got this guy, who I'm a little bit interested in as a striker option. Ramazan Korkmaz, 19-year-old German under-21 international, who is a 95 scouting rating, signed whatever the price striker, who would come in already better than Abraham with the potential to continue to improve. The only problem is he's not a pressing forward and he's never played a game anywhere, ever. And they want 12 million quid for him. So I'm not in a desperate rush to sign him, but other than that, in our price range, there's not really a lot else. This is a right back we almost signed last summer, but pulled out of because I didn't want to take a risk on him. Oh, Juventus only had him on loan. Oh, hold the phone, boys and girls. Do they have a fee agreed? Because if not, we'll just swoop in and take him off Dynamo Kiev. Because surely they're not going to ask for too much money. We're going to re-scout him, and absolutely we'll be keeping an eye on him. If he was, I thought he'd gone to Juventus permanently, but a season at Juventus, he's continued to improve. He could be the left back that we need, so we'll keep an eye on him. And again, you can see we're actually deliberately looking for players in positions we need to strengthen. It's just fairly slim pickings at the moment, so we'll wait and see how how scout reports go over the next couple of weeks while we wait for the 1st of July. We'll see what freebies are available, but as we've learned in previous seasons, there's not much in the way of... We've kind of outgrown free transfers now. The old men aren't good enough for us, and the youngsters aren't ever going to be good enough for us. So it's not... July the 1st isn't quite as meaningful as it used to be, but we will have a little look to see what's available then, and see where we go from there. Before we move on, a couple of people have asked to see how the old clubs and old players are doing, so we are going to have a very quick look. We're not going to dwell on it too much, but Hamburg, just back doing Hamburg things, mid-table Bundesliga side. Friedel's the captain. There's not a lot of my players still in the team, I don't think. If we have a look at the most recent starting 11, Chaton, Rodriguez, Mori, Friedel, Zielinski was there as a backup when I was there. There's not much else. They've sold a lot of players. If we have a look at transfers, obviously a whole bunch of players leaving this year, although most of them are names I don't recognise either. The notable sale the year before was Liam Thorne. But I mean, there's a couple of notable ones actually. George Armstrong, Janicic, Vital, quite a few players leaving. But Liam Thorne, people have said, Kev, go sign Liam Thorne, you need a striker. Liam Thorne's 29, has still never played for England. He's valued at £36 million. Fulham now want him back, which is baffling. But he's gone back to the Premier League. He's been there a year and a half and only scored 13 goals. Yes, he scored consistently for my Hamburg team. But, again, grand scheme of things, he didn't actually score any more consistently than Abraham is for us now. So why bring in a 29-year-old who's going to cost an absolute fortune when he's no better than what we've already got? So Liam Thorne is not the answer to any question anyone might be asking. But while we are looking at old clubs, we'll have a quick look at Fulham as well. I know it's been a long time since we were at Fulham, but again, they're back doing Fulham things, mid-table Premier League. I doubt there's anybody still there who was there. Garces is still there. Let's see how he's got on since 27 years old now, still earning a lot of money. I mean, he's doing all right, isn't he? He was a good signing for £675,000. But other than him, there's nobody there from when we were there. That's how quick player turnover can be at times. So let's try and work out where some of the bigger players have gone. I'm looking for the Mirabellas and the Halls and that kind of player to see when and where they departed. But it looks like they followed me out the door fairly quickly. Wow. Okay, they really did. How long? Where are they? Where are they? Are they still there but just not playing? There's Kubik going to Paris Saint-Germain for £100 million, which is nuts. Right, I might have just, because I'm skimming it, I might not have noticed them, but Simon Hall, who people ask about all the time, 29 years old now, playing for Leicester. Did go to West Ham. I mean, he's gone for some big money, but I think that's going to go down as a life of unfulfilled potential for Simon Hall. Mirabella, who I thought was going to be the new Cristiano Ronaldo, is still at Fulham, but not in the team, it seems. Oh, okay, I guess he must have been injured. So he's been there a long time, but again, not quite as good as we thought he was going to be. I don't think there's anyone else major that people wanted to look at. Thorne, Mirabella and Hall are the ones that people usually ask about. I imagine people say, what about Okafor? There you go, Okafor, now 32, still at Hamburg. Not quite the Okafor we had, though, is he? So let's fast forward to the 1st of July. If any major transfer stuff happens before then, obviously I will come back. But I'm assuming we're not going to get offers for players until towards the end of the transfer window, because that's usually how this thing happens. And I don't plan on offering anybody out because I don't really want any of them to leave. I like my little team that I built. I just want to bring in a couple of new players, but we need money. It's frustrating. Give me money. Just to give you an idea of the difference in money available between the La Liga and the Premier League, Everton have just won the Championship playoffs and have come in and they're signing Mosca for £31.5 million. We're obviously going to be accepting that, but that's absolutely insane. This guy is our 4th best central midfielder. Obviously, if we are going with the 4-2-3-1, which I think we probably are, Moreno is going to step up and be our 4th central midfielder, as well as offering cover for defensive midfield if we switch back to that system. So we don't need him. We paid £10 million for him 2 years ago. He's 28. I mean, that's just absolutely mad. You have been fantastic because you've given us... We've got an extra £23.5 million to spend now. They're now in for Woodenberg. I mean, that's quite frankly silly. I know he's not necessarily anything special, but he is still the second best defender at the club star rating wise. I think we probably need another centre-back is what that's telling me. But I'd at least want my money back on him. And money back in the transfer kitty as well. So I want £20 million for him because I do. They obviously don't want to spend that. The other piece of transfer news, I know I talked about this guy and said, probably not. But we've re-scouted him. He's gone up from a 95 to a 96. And we're going to get him super cheap, if assuming he signs. Hamburg are interested in him as well. But rather than the 12 million we talked about before, 6.75 million. Only half of it up front as well. 3.2 million up front. The rest of it in add-ons. He's a wonder kid. He's 19. He's already better than Abraham. He's going to get better and better. I mean, I know he's never played anywhere. I don't really understand why. But it seems like a bit of a no-brainer. So fingers crossed he'll be coming in as well. And then we'll work from there. But Mosca is gone. I just want to continue and see what that does to our transfer budget. I think it adds a significant... I mean, that's absolutely mad. Why are the Sevilla fan base worried about that? They really need to listen. They need to watch these videos and understand that it makes perfect sense with what we're trying to do. We've now got £35 million to spend, plus £400,000 of spare wage budget. All of a sudden, I've got a summer where I can make some moves. And looking at our team report, I don't think we've necessarily majorly worsened the squad by doing it. Easy peasy. Let's go spending. Well, this is a nice little unexpected £8 million. Whoever he is, Luis Flores, we've got 8 million. He left Sevilla in 2023 to go to Chelsea for 23 million quid. He's been there a long time and has now gone to Inter for 51 million pounds. And we've got a bunch more cash, which means we're now back up to 30 million pounds on our transfer budget, having agreed the signings of 2 players. We've signed the left back as well, Ryback. Yes, it's £25 million total value of the deal, but we're only paying £8 million now. We're doing everything on the never these days, but although he's roughly similar ability to Calvillo at the moment, he has got the potential to be very, very, very good. So we're going to bring him in the hopes that he fulfills that potential with us. We've also got this guy who he's leaving us. I thought he was coming to us. Oh, Real Madrid have stolen one of our youngsters. That's not good. How has that even happened? Never mind, eh? But that looks like that was the only bit of windfall. But just to confirm, some big players leaving. McCrory, Pozo, Centelles and whoever he is have all gone. So, wage budget, lots of spensies in there. And we probably need to do some contract renewals. Although, really, do we? Who is this guy? Why should he get a new contract? Young left back. I mean, yeah, fair enough. You can have a new contract. The rest of them, I'm not particularly excited about. Yeah, that all looks fine. Oh, I see. Doesn't look fine to you. Fine, whatever. Youth players, no one good, about to expire. Excellent. The 1st of July is almost upon us. That's always a good signing. Or a good sign at the start of a 1st of July. 2 19-year-old wonder kids arriving. Excellent stuff. So Ryback. I mean, he's better than Calvillo. Going to get very good. Perhaps we just need to feed him more. That won't be the last time. If you're not a wrestling fan, you don't know what I'm talking about. Promise you, not the last time you'll hear that. And this guy, Korkmaz, who has now played a couple more games for the German under-21 side. Better than Abraham. Potential to get better. Can't really argue with either of those as signings. They both need to go and learn to speak Spanish, which I guess is going to be the usual issue with them settling in early on, but let's not worry too much about that. I think to get the 2 of those for a combined £31 million, but it's really only combined £11 million up front. Future Kev has to worry about the other 20 million quid, and we'll have won the Champions League by then, so who cares? We've got players who we need to put out on the loan list. That's fine. And this is what the finances look like at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of July. We've got loads of transfer budget, loads of wage budget, and this is our squad. So what do we need to do? Striker wise, we're sorted. We've got 2 good strikers, a good backup, and a youngster. That'll do me. For strikers, we're fine. Attacking midfielders, we've obviously got Lorenzo, who's got massive potential. He's a proper wonder kid. He's on a nice big contract with a big release clause. So we've got him there as a good option. And of course, we've got the option to switch this round to a 4-3-3 like we've been using and move Moreno back as well. And in fact, if we do that, we have, it's that one, isn't it? We've got Moreno and Ramirez, who is another youngster. Is he another wonder kid? He's wanted by 15 clubs. His release clause, he needs a new contract with a bigger release clause because he's another one with loads of potential. And we don't want these youngsters to be leaving. So let's throw some more money at him. Oh, value limited by agent. Interesting. Can I get him to sack his agent? No? Perhaps we won't rely on him being around long term then. He's got a rascal for an agent. But I think we're certainly going to be starting the season with this. So we probably need another player to offer competition for Lorenzo. Maybe if we can find someone in their early 30s with lots of experience who's been doing that for a big club for years, who can come in and tutor Lorenzo, that would be even better. Left wing, we've got Garcia and Ruiz. We know they're good enough. Right wing, we've got Montero, who it's a big season for Montero. Similar situation to with Lorenzo. I would like to bring in someone maybe over the top of Montero, just with a bit more experience, just really for some competition for him. But, I mean, we could potentially get someone who can come in and do both of those things. We'll see what's out there. So that's a position we need to look at. Central midfield, Ats O'Neill, Mateus Moreno. That'll do me. That looks good to me. If we can find a reasonably priced young player, like another Ats for £4 million, we'll do that. But otherwise, I'm not in a rush to bring in a central midfielder. Left back, we've got Ryback and Calvillo. Right back, we've got Rodriguez and nobody, so we do need a right back. Centre back, Alvaro, Sanya, Ventura, Woodenberg. That's fine unless someone cheap arrives. And then goal, Markovic and Schimmel. So we could probably do with another goalkeeper so we don't have another Markovic situation. But I think top priority now, a backup left back, a backup right back, another goalkeeper, and someone to do this, to tutor those two and offer competition to them both. If that ends up being 2 players, then so be it. We've got plenty of money to throw around. So now we need to go and find out who's available for freebies and who we can bring in on some trials. Well, it turns out there was nothing like what we wanted available for free transfers, really. However, we did find this guy available for a free transfer, and he has just joined. Felix Presedo. He can be our replacement from Oscar. I mean, he's plays in the same position. He's coming on a free transfer, immediately valued at nearly £40 million. 25 under 20 caps for Argentina, still only 24 years old. 3.5-star current ability. He's as good as Mateus. I could probably sell Mateus at this point and move Moreno forward, but he's never played in Europe before. Comes in, and that just seems like a nice little pickup, an unexpected little surprise. And we're also bringing in Suarez, who was our backup goalkeeper the season before last on loan. I'm just going to bring him back to sit on the bench again. Looks like we're going with Markovic, but he only wants £4,500 a week. So we may as well bring him in as well. Other than that, there wasn't really anything else available as a free transfer for us. So the plan now is to try and spend some of this money that we've got, which I suppose was the reason behind selling Mosca in the first place. So that's just the confirmation that Suarez is in. So team report now looks like this. Not much has changed since the last time we looked at it. And Face from Nominee to Legend Past is here on trial. I'm not going to side him though, even though theoretically could be the best striker at the club. But he's 31 and he's never scored goals consistently. So there's just no reason to bring him in. And there's a couple of others who fit that mould as well. This guy, I think at 33 is probably past it. 33 and never played a game of international football doesn't inspire me with confidence. So not going to worry about him. And there's a couple of other bits and pieces around, but no one really spectacular. Presedo was the one from the players who came in on trial. Again, another example of an old man who you could make an argument for bringing him in, but I think we'd probably a better placed spending our money in a more sensible place. So let's have a look to see what we've got available on our scout reports. And this is where anyone who's fairly new to the series, there's restrictions. If you want to know what the restrictions are, you need to watch the introduction to the series way back at the start. I always get people telling me, Kev, just do this. I can't. This is all I can do. I can only look at players that I've previously scouted. So straight away, one is leaping out to me there because he's an attacking midfielder already under offer from pesky Hamburg, but he looks good immediately. I don't need to see any more. He's from Barcelona. He's an attacking midfielder. He's better than Lorenzo. Potential to improve. And Hamburg want him. He was on loan at Hamburg last year. Immediately, let's make an offer for him. He's exactly the position we're looking for to strengthen, or one of them. And we're in direct competition with Hamburg. We don't want to pay. That's the thing. We don't want to pay anything all in one go, though. So let's see if they'll do it on the Never Never. So that's still 8.25. It is. That works for me. Let's try and get him in. So there's one. Who else have we got in the bargain basement? Another left back has appeared, Josh Butler. According to that, I can get him for 12 million, but I've tried up to 20 million on the Never Never and they keep turning me down. I'm tempted just because it's another left back. So we have two good young left backs then, and he can play centre back as well, but he's not great at centre back, but provides some decent cover. Plus he's got an England cap, but I don't know, unless I can get him I want him super cheap. I don't want to be spending a lot of money on him because we've already brought in a left back this summer. So we'll put him on the back burner for now. I don't want to waste all my money on left backs. That's too cliche even for me. We need a right winger. So right wing, who have we got? This guy at Real Madrid looks good, but they're not going to let him have it. Let us have him. I wonder if they'll let us bring him in on loan. No. Let's make an inquiry and see what they say about him. I don't think the fact that he's not showing as having a potential price available suggests nope. There's a guy still hanging out down in Brazil, 19 years old. So similar sort. Okay, almost as good. Okay, hello. Are you a Brazilian wonder kid by any chance? You're not yet showing as wonder kid status, but potentially as good as Gould. Potential to get even better. We need to scout. Oh, we're already scouting him a little bit more. Is anyone currently in for him? No. We're going to keep an eye on Philo and maybe look to bring him in. But everyone else is so expensive. Although there's a young Croatian. These are always good value. Who wants you? Millwall on loan. Okay, maybe you're not quite of the standard that I'd be looking for. When's this scout report from? Ages ago. Let's get a new one and have another look at you, because that says you're better than Gould. I find that hard to believe. Right, no luck for right wing yet. Let's try right back. Right back. This guy, my director of football, is already trying to bring in. I thought, yeah, as a youth player. So, I mean, potentially he could be the backup to Rodriguez if he's any good. So I might just leave my director of football to go about his business there. There doesn't seem to be anyone else who screams out at me as being brilliant. Attacking midfield we're already looking at. Goalkeeper, I don't think there's really much. We've already signed Suarez now, so unless someone brilliant emerges, no. Okay. We're kind of waiting for scout reports. There's lots of scouting going on. Remember, we still have a long time to go. Fixtures haven't even been announced yet. So we've got nearly 2 months until the season starts. We've got time to take this slowly and wait for scout reports. I'm not panicking yet. I know I spent half the last episode talking about the possibility of it happening, but I'm still scared now that it has. Bayern Munich have come in and hit Tony Moreno's £51 million release clause. In response, I've offered him a new contract with a higher release clause, so it's now down to him. He can choose to stay with us or go to them. We've both got contracts on the table. I am on his favoured personnel list. We're not on his favoured club list. So we'll leave it in his hands. Came for our youth team, played 315 games for us already. And, already broken into not already, but age 25 has now broken into the Spanish national team. it would be a shame to see him go, but with the tactical change we're putting in place, it wouldn't be a disaster. And £51 million equates to about another £40 million of spensies for me. So we could then move into the next category of players that we're looking at. At the moment, we're shopping for bargains like Amador, who hopefully we'll still get, but there's several other clubs in for him now. Sevilla, Hamburg and Lille both in for him also. But we're kind of ignoring the bigger category player. Like, I don't know, let's have a look at, what do we still need? A winger. We still need a right winger. So at the moment, we're kind of looking at him and thinking, he might be a good option. But not looking at this guy who would come straight into the team. We know he'd be good enough because he's much better than Gould was, but we're not in that price range at the moment. Whereas with £75 million to spend, suddenly that tier of player becomes somebody that we can look at. In Gould news, because I would love to bring him back, but the last transfer offer I made, they looked for £100 million for him. They just don't want to sell him, which I think is quite frankly rude. But I know, let's try and get my director of football to do it. Transfer budget is we believe but I'm not talking about transfer budget. I want you to sign Gould for me. Can't pretend I'm disappointed, but I do understand. But I don't know, let's say, because I think he's got the potential to be a proper player for us. Let's say 40 million quid. They've come back and said they want 99 million. I don't think we're going to be signing Jason Gould permanently. Amador is in from Barcelona for £8.25 million. 23-year-old attacking midfielder, a Spanish under-21 international, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. So currently slightly better than Lorenzo. As the season goes on, Lorenzo should surpass him because he's got higher potential and is a few years younger, but comes in as a leading player for La Liga sides. This is exactly the kind of player that we want to be bringing in. Fits into the new system that we're going to be doing absolutely perfectly and was an absolute steal, which makes the team report now look like this. So we've strengthened there. We still need to strengthen here. We're still good everywhere else attacking wise, and a right back and a goalkeeper, maybe another left back. We're about there, and we're going to potentially have loads of money to throw around on Brazilian wonder kids at that point, because we're not going to need anybody else. Oh, what a time to be alive. I can't give him a squad number for some reason. Weird. There you go. We'll register a lot of players. Can I give him a squad number now? Yeah, he had to be registered first. Fair enough. I can live with that. Nothing much else going on. We've still got £31 million to spend. Moreno still hasn't gone yet, and we've already spent 40 million quid. This is going to be the biggest summer in the entire series so far. And we started with a £10 million transfer budget. I'm so proud of him. He's delighted to be working under me because of his admiration for me. He's turned down a move to Bayern Munich to sign a new 5-year contract with us with a new £70 million release clause. They might come back in for him yet, but I love the fact that he was given the option to leave and has chosen to stay. I'd rather have him than the money at this point. That's just, it brings a tear to my eye. I want to switch the tactic back so that he can still play. He'll just have to play further forward. He'll have to do a Mori for us. He'll be fine. It's good. It's going to be important to have the two systems to switch between as we need them. Let's face it, we're away against Real Madrid or Barcelona. We're still going to play Tony Moreno in front of our back four. Oh, I'm so happy. We're not going to be able to afford him once he plays a few more games for Spain, but we'll pretend I knew about that clause in the contract when I offered it and I wasn't just rushing through to try and keep him. Deportivo trying to bring Ramirez in. I don't actually think that's necessarily the right thing for him to do now. I don't know. Obviously, we're not going to be playing with a holding midfielder loads, and when we are, it's going to be Moreno. I guess what we need to do is just make sure that he's recallable, because it's important. Yeah, there you go. Can be recalled. Because Deportivo, they're in our league, aren't they? They are. So if he's going to go and play regular first-team football for them, that's going to be much more valuable than sitting in the reserves for us. So Ramirez can go out and loan again for another season. Excellent stuff. Calvillo, I'm tempted to let him go while people are trying to bring him in, because we've got that other left back we could potentially bring in. But the situation kind of changes again now. Now Moreno's staying. If Moreno had gone, one of my first things would be to go and spend £12 million on Josh Butler. Less keen to do that now. Although he is a current established. You know what? Let's just do 12 million up front. If that's what they want, they'll probably turn this down now. Are we on an out-of-date scout report here or something? Because my scout report tells me, when's it from? Yeah, we need to re-scout him to find out what they actually want. Right, so we'll put that on the back burner for now. So that means we're going to turn down the Calvillo offer, because we need him as our backup left back for now. And my assistant manager is very happy with my new signing. Good, glad you are. There's been no real sign of the director of football doing anything yet this summer. So I'm not sure if he's planning on joining in and bringing any loans, or maybe we've outgrown all that. But this has been the most Kev transfer window ever so far. Well, this was unexpected. Bayern Munich have now come back in and met Rodriguez's transfer fee clause thing. Unacceptable. Persuade to stay. I'm very reluctant to let you. What would it take to keep you here? There's nothing you can do to tempt me to stay. You've got a release clause. Yeah, right. Now let's try and offer him a new contract. Although I suspect, because he clearly wants to go, he might not be up for it. Yeah. So, now the situation has changed, right back wise, because we were trying to bring in a youngster to be the backup to the youngster we already had. Now we need a real right back, because we're completely without one. The best one currently available is the youngster we're trying to bring in. This is problematic. Right, we're doing a change of plan and just bringing in youngsters for now. So Guillon, the right back, is in. 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. Nowhere near as good as Rodriguez, but remember, Rodriguez is just about gone. So we still need a proper right back. We have, however, got a right winger, Peter Hannes, 19-year-old Czech under-21 international, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, better than Montero. Hopefully will end up as good as Gould. We've got another right winger, hopefully on the way in as well, although I can't see him because I'm looking at the wrong screen. Pavel Jakubowski is an 18-year-old Czech right winger who is potentially 3.5-star current ability with 5-star potential again. Another one who could end up better than Montero, and we could end up with 2 young Czech wingers, which is not a disaster. This guy I'd like to bring in just as some extra cover at centre-back, but we can't agree terms with him and he won't discuss a new contract, so we're going to go back in for him again a little bit later on in the window if we haven't found a replacement. But right back wise, still no news because none exist. Hold on, where have you appeared from? Michael Cardozo. Why does that name sound familiar? No reason. I think we're just going to have to spend a lot of money. So he's not as good as Rodriguez, and he's going to cost us all of the Rodriguez money. This is a frustrating situation to be in. We must be able to do better than him. But at least he's a ready-made, can actually come into the team replacement. Are you any good? Ivano Rizzo. You are potentially better than Rodriguez. Interesting. We need to scout you a lot more before we make a decision. But you might be the man who comes in. Maybe. A long way from ideal. I mean, they're not even paying him as much money as we were paying him. I don't understand. They're just hoovering up players. It's Real Madrid doing Real Madrid things. Can we get him on loan? No. Just very frustrating that they'll just hoover up a wonder kid that they're not going to use. What it does do to our finances is gives us a stupid amount of money to play with. The only problem is there are no right backs currently available. So we've got a month until the season starts. And we have to sign this guy. I mean, he was almost as good as Rodriguez. I guess it wouldn't be a disaster. I just want my own player back. Can we get him on loan, I wonder? And allow us to not worry about it for a year? No. I'll keep looking. Right, if we've got money to spend, goodness me, am I going to spend it? We have a right back. Frank Grivosti is a current England international, 28 years old, 31 caps for England, 4-star current ability, better than Rodriguez was, a leading player for most La Liga sides, was on the transfer list at Liverpool for some reason. He's in for £18 million. Let's do all the normal bits and pieces. The eagle-eyed amongst you can already see what the next one up is and realise that I must have done something stupid for that to be a possibility, because we all know what we were quoted last time. Jason Gould for £70 million. I do have a reason for this. The reason, I was looking for a right winger. I don't know if I can find the one now. Who was he? Who did he play? He played for West Ham. Let's go to West Ham. There's a story to tell. I was doing this while eating a bacon roll, which is why I wasn't talking to you about it while it was happening. But we were looking for right wingers and decided the best one we could find was Aaron Haley, 28-year-old current England international. I got romanticised by the idea of having England's current right-hand side playing for Sevilla. But the deal we agreed was £70 million. That's the minimum they would accept. £20 million up front, £50 million over however many years. We got the deal agreed, but then he asked for £300,000 a week, which we obviously can't afford to pay. So I thought, hang on, I was just willing to pay £70 million for a right winger. Our player of the season last year is a right winger. I wonder if we could get him on the same deal. And lo and behold, we can get Jason Gould on exactly the same deal. He's already almost as good as that guy was. He's got potential to be even better. He was our player of the year last year. I know. I fully understand, comments section, that I am absolutely, utterly, completely overpaying for Jason Gould. However, don't view it as £70 million for a player. View it as £70 million to finish the team, the missing piece of the jigsaw. If we look through this squad, we're pretty much set everywhere apart from the right wing, although Hannes does look quite good. We've got options on the right wing, but Gould was so important last year. I want him. I want to bring him in. So I'm going to bring him in. I know I'm overpaying, but you know what? Sometimes I make silly decisions in Non-League to Legend, and you know when I start doing nonsense like this that we're nearing the end. I'm putting the finishing touches to my Champions League winning team. I hope. Jason Gould has just signed for Sevilla for £70 million, and the new right winger we signed to replace him has got a grump on already by the looks of it. Squad registration. We'll sort that in a minute. So Gould is in. We're not even paying him a huge amount of money. What's his release clause? See, he's going to be a superstar. He's the new Gareth Bale, I'm sure of it. Look how much better he is than the guy who was here before. He's got better since he was last with us. And that was the end of last season. Hannes is a little bit sad. I can understand that. But then you are 19. Just bide your time. You'll be fine. O'Neill will have a chat with you. Okay. Discuss. Are you upset? I know. Unfortunately, that's off. I don't want to. We've only just signed him. I don't want to upset him, but I think we're going to need to send this lad out on loan. I'm happy with the balance of the squad. Everyone will get their chance to impress. Yeah, we've upset him, haven't we? We might have to move him out on loan before he becomes a bit of a troublemaker. But what that means is this is what the squad depth currently looks like. I'm very happy with how this squad is taking shape. That attack looks awesome. That midfield looks awesome. We've got the option to play Moreno deep if we need to, and if we need to shuffle things around for a more defensive system. So we have a plan B, which we've never had before. We've got a good right back. We've got one good centre back, plus some very adequate backups. We've got a very promising left back. Ryback might be the weak link. We've got a decent keeper, and we've still got £25 million to spend, I think. But we are currently spending over our budgets. But we have another player on the way in. Gershon Annan is a 26-year-old French centre-back. I don't know if we're going to be able to afford to buy him now, because the offer we've made is £37.5 million. A big chunk of that is probably about a third of that is up front. The rest is spread over time. We'll see if we can afford to get him. If we can, and there's still money left, which is very unlikely, there is a goalkeeper I'm after as well, who is this guy, but we can't afford. In fact, should we take him on loan? Can we do a loan with a future fee? We can't even afford to pay him a loan fee, wages for a loan at the moment. We are going to try and bring him in as well. And then we probably need to move some players out. If we're bringing another defender in, it might be time to start accepting offers for Woodenberg, who maybe we have to admit was a £15 million gamble that didn't work. That felt like a lot of money at the time. How much money have we spent this summer now? We had £10 million at the start of the summer. We've spent £136 million so far. We are expanding the stadium as well. So it's not all financial ruin. We've got another 5,000 seats being added onto the stadium somewhere. Can't even see where it's... They did tell me that was happening. Yeah, expanding the stadium. We'll probably have no money to be able to do it when the time comes, though. Although, we're doing all right for money. Let's not panic yet. Let's keep the transfers going. At any point, we could have another... I'm still half expecting Garcia and Moreno to leave this summer. So I'm kind of building a squad with that in mind as well. We'll see what happens. Annan is in as well, and I think I've finished the defence. He is 26-year-old French under-21 international, 3.5 star, current ability, comes in as the best defender at the club. He'll partner Alvaro. I consider him my replacement for McCrory. Was on loan at Fulham last season. Didn't play very well for them, but we just spent a lot of money on him, so he must be good. Let's do all the usual welcoming stuff. Send him to go and learn Spanish. The fact he can speak English means obviously I'm going to be able to communicate with him, which is always handy. Just shuffling a few other things around as well. He's going out on loan, and we've still got money to spend, but we do need to put it into wage budget now. We need to sell a player. We've gone over budget, everybody. Who thought this was going to happen? Right, we go for that goalkeeper just on a straight loan for now then, knowing that we're probably going to have to pay more for him next summer if he ends up being any good. But I don't even know if we're going to be able to get him. Is that him? Christian Gomez. Make offer, loan. Right, we can afford him. Can we set up a future fee? How do you do a future fee? I don't even know how to do it. Is future fee not an option? Loan options. No option for a future fee in there. Loan clauses. Optional future fee. Right, let's say 7.5 million. Excellent. We'd be willing to pay £7.5 million for him next summer if he turns out to be any good. So that's potentially a goalkeeper coming in. I think we do need to move a defender on now. And we need to have a look to see who's most likely to be the one who could get a fee. Ventura is... I mean, the thing is, he's the logical one to move on because he's never been anywhere near the team. But we're not going to get any money for him and he's not really earning a lot of money. Whereas Woodenberg... Although he was a regular 2 seasons ago, he was a fringe player. He was very good then, though, that's the thing. But he was a fringe player then. We'd probably get £10-12 million for him. Mind you, he's also not earning a lot. But someone's interested. 13 clubs are interested in him. Right, I'm just going to sit and wait for an offer to come in for him, I think, rather than offering him out. Let's see what offers comes in. I'd be happy to start the season with that squad, especially if we bring the goalkeeper in as well. I don't think there's anywhere that screams out at me as needing to be improved. Garcia's one of the weakest players in that squad now. That shows how good we've got. Ryback needs to get good fast. I'm a bit upset that my director of football hasn't brought me any players in yet. I want a left back on loan. I want that Man City one, but I don't know if he's going to be available. Doesn't look like he is. I'm going to try and convince them to let me loan him. What was his name? He's not even... Inaki Garcia's available again, but he's not any good. Oh, he's at the top here, that's why. This is the guy we want. Can we get him on loan? Another current England international. First team commitments, apparently. What first team commitments are they? He doesn't play for you ever. Right. Let's just... We've still got like 3 weeks until the season starts. Let's sit and wait and see if any more players leave or if my director of football brings anyone in on loan, he might have a left back in mind for me. He's just not done anything yet, though. So perhaps we've outgrown the loans. We abused them for so long, and now it's not a thing anymore. Apparently, right? They've accepted the offer for him, which is good. We've set a new record for that. Excellent. We're not letting Woudenberg leave on loan. That's stupid. And now we wait. Imagine if this happened after the summer we've had as well. A mystery foreign tycoon looking to complete a buyout of the club and invest large sums of money in new players and facilities. We've already spent nearly £200 million this summer and we're expanding the stadium. This could be... Oh my word, I hope that could... Oh! Right, Gomez is in as our new goalkeeper. 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He'll be our first choice keeper before he might even start the season as first choice yet. We will see, and we'll make the signing permanent at some point as soon as we can afford it. Maybe sooner rather than later if we get our lovely new tycoon come in. Schimmel's now upset. Well, you know what, Mr. Schimmel? That's because I'm going to be selling you now. We don't need you as a fourth choice goalkeeper, so you can leave. Bye-bye. Oh, he's happy now. Never mind. Finances are completely ruined for now. Part of me wonders if the fact that we've gone out and spent all this money has alerted the tycoon that we're a club who are going places and they want to get in so it looks like we did all this with their knowing they were coming. Yeah, they came in and took over summer 2032. Remember, that was the summer Sevilla spent loads of money. They want to take the credit for my nonsense. Or it might not happen. I'm getting really excited at the prospect of a tycoon. In all my years playing Football Manager, I've never had a tycoon takeover that I remember. Obviously, it would have been nice for it to happen to home in that series. But I'll take it with a team just on the cusp of greatness, that if we get thrown Man City money, we'll have the Champions League won in 2 years. If not, it might take us 3 or 4. But this is it. We're in with Sevilla now. This is us until the end. Cue a cut to Real Madrid offering me a job or something. Guarantee that's what's going to happen now. And Woudenberg is leaving just to balance the books a little bit, really. I probably wouldn't have sold him if we hadn't have gone way over our wage budget, but I'm hoping by bringing that £8 million in, plus getting his salary off the wage bill, that should get us a little bit closer to balancing the books. If the tycoon comes in and takes over now, I'll be a little bit frustrated because he was still young. He still had potential. He was still a player who could come good, but we've cut our losses on him, taken a £7 million loss over the 2 years. And apparently Monaco are owed 1%. We didn't sign him from Monaco. He must have come from Monaco's youth team originally. But Woudenberg is gone. Hopefully that gets us a bit closer to balancing the books. The start of the season is almost upon us. The takeover is still ongoing. Clearly not going to go through before the window closes now at this point, I would guess. And I think we're nearly there. I know my team, that's for sure. Well, it looks like our transfer business is over for now. It might be starting up again soon, though, with another big pile of cash. We will wait and see how this develops. Oh well, never mind. It was a fun little dream while it happened. But alas, my wait for a tycoon takeover continues. I've been thanked for my... Thanks for your patience, Kev. Yeah, no worries. I didn't spend the money assuming it was coming. Just don't check the bank balance or the squad list and we'll be fine. But at least the transfer embargo is lifted and we have got £2 million to spend. So let's go and find another player. There can't be anyone left to buy at this point, surely. We've bought them all. Clear that. Is anyone cheap? Anyone cheap at all? I feel like I need one more player now to cheer myself up. We're doing some retail therapy with footballers. Yeah, maybe not. And that brings us up to the first game of the new season. Obviously, because we're in Spain, the transfer window does stay open for a little bit longer. But realistically, we're probably not going to be bringing in any more players, he says. As you see, he's making offers for a bunch of youngsters. But pretend they don't exist. You might meet them in the next episode. Here's your summary of a transfer window, which I remind you again, started with us having just £10 million in transfer budget. In the end, we sold £74 million worth of players, spent £173 million. I guess this is a year we've got to actually push for the title, haven't we? We can't spend that kind of money and not put on a title challenge. So we sold Mosca to Everton for 31 million, Rodriguez to Real Madrid for 34 million, and Woodenberg to Spartak Moscow for 8 million. Players coming in: Korkmaz, new striker, 6.75 million. Ryback, new left back, for 25 million. Presedo is going to be a good central midfielder. He came in on a free transfer. Amador, attacking midfielder, 8 million quid. Gion, cheap new backup right back. Heinous, right wingers are brilliant. We've had Chaton before, now we've got Heinous. He's actually gone out on loan to Espanyol because he got in a grumpy after Ryan Gould arrived for £70 million. Gravosti is our new right back for £21 million. Anand's our new centre back, £37.5 million. Gomez, new goalkeeper, here on loan initially with a permanent move, going to go through just as soon as we can find £7.5 million quid. So this is what our team looks like for the first game of the new season, which will be in tomorrow's video. We've got Markovic in goal, a back four of Ryback, Alvaro, Anand and Gravosti. Very much new look back four. Midfield of O'Neill and Atz, with Garcia, Lorenzo and Gould in behind. New boy Korkmaz up front. Some of the other new signings. In fact, there's none of the only other new signing on the bench is Gomez. The rest of them need to wait their turn. They'll get a chance eventually. We didn't really sign much in the way of attacking players, did we? Amador, I guess, is the one who I'm very much looking forward to seeing play, but he's out for the first couple of weeks of the season. What did you think then? Let me know down in the comments. I am prepared for the Kev, you spent far too much money comments. I know they're coming. I know I'm going to get criticism. I need Ryan Gould. He's not. Why do I keep calling it? There must be a Ryan Gould who exists. I'm going to change it. We're going to change his name to Ryan Gould in a minute. Jason Gould. We need him to be the best player in the history of the world. He's actually been appointed our captain on the recommendation of my assistant manager. He's feeling the pressure though, because he is only 20. He's already got... Oh, actually, he's no longer feeling the pressure of being the captain at a young age. So he's actually stepped up, taken that in his stride. We've got a 20-year-old wonder kid captain who cost us £70 million. Feels like I'm managing Real Madrid just without actually being the Real Madrid manager. It's super duper fun. But let's see how they get on as a team in tomorrow's episode. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.